Good evening, and welcome back to Umineko no naku koro ni. We're at the fourth Let's Play video now, as you can see. We're slowly making headway through the story, even though we're probably gonna be, it's gonna be a while until we get to the good stuff, but hopefully we can break new ground. And, you know, tread forward and try to see how far we can get today. So yeah. Where we last left off, I think we were discussing stuff with the father, or at least about the father. And yeah, that's about just the majority I can remember. It's still a more exposition. Which is, we just need to get through all that. Which is, usually very hectic and boring. But eventually we'll, you know, feel for these characters, and when shit hit the fans, we're gonna be reaching for that tissue paper, you know? So I hope everyone's doing good tonight. Hello Adonis, Wizard, hopefully, and JB. Hopefully you'll enjoy the story. I know it's been a while since we last played it, so I'm gonna try to keep at it until, you know, until we get to at least the good part. Because we can't get there on our own without having to go through the boring stuff first. It's like a movie, you know? You go through the slow parts first, it's like a slow burn, and then like the second half, you reach the climax and everything gets more interesting. It's like, whoa, it all paid off. So let's go on ahead and read on the story, shall we? So I believe we were discussing the history of the Yoshida-miya family, as well as probably the backstory of the house. Also let me know if the volume is too loud, I can always lower it. They owned several spinning mills, and they were very wealthy people who merely had to fall about laughing while the money rolled in. Ah yes, the backstory of Elon Musk. Incidentally, grandfather was a member of a branch family, originally had nothing to do with the main family. Distantly separated from the head's inheritance, he apparently had very little involvement with the head house. However, during the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923, mansion owned by the Yoshida-miya family member Odawara was flattened. Also not sure how long the stream will be tonight. I just want to get as much as I can before I get tired tonight. So maybe we'll go for like 1 or 2 hours today. We'll see how I'm feeling. I definitely got water prepared, so don't worry. If volume sounds good, that's great. Spinning mills in Tokyo were all burned down in the huge fire. And the Yoshida-miya family lost most of its wealth and family members in an instant. Wow. It then became a matter of who would become the heir to the main family. As it turned out, there were left except for Kinzo, who was far removed from the main family line as they come. Kinzo himself later said that it would be such good luck. It was as though fate itself had been turned upside down. But that grandfather ordinary life did a 180. He was entrusted with reviving the wealth but the dying Yoshida-miya family had almost completely lost. Of course, just because you suddenly dump a task on someone doesn't mean they can do squat to accomplish it. I doubt the people around them were expecting much. But this is where grandfather began to display his extraordinary talent and good luck. Grandfather used all the family funds, and everything from the hair on his head to his toenails are collateral to borrow a massive amount of money. So yeah, basically I just borrowed a small sum of $1 million. Created a gigantic supply of funds and immediately started a business. It was like tumbling down the hill on a bike without brakes, and then jumping onto the neighboring bike and then another one. And just like some crazy street performance, probably everyone would have thought that grandfather had no business ability. But with that unbelievable amount of good luck and miracles, with coincidences piling up and every chance taken advantage of, before anyone knew it, he had forged powerful connections with the Allied forces. And at that time, MacArthur and GHQ were in charge of Japan. Grandfather, in a twinkle of the eye, began succeeding in the business under the protection of occupying forces, quickly becoming very rich. At this point, it was no longer luck but information that won the day. He must have had some serious sick connections with the occupying forces. Grandfather knew about the emergency demands that would made for the Korean War before they happened. No, more than that, he must have foreseen the special procurements and started penetrating those markets from the very beginning. History textbooks say that all of Japan made a large profit on the emergency demands of the Korean War, but that wasn't the case in reality. Only a very limited number of super rich played money game and made an easy profit. Most of the citizens remained poor. In other words, Grandfather was an extremely lucky member of the group winners. This all happened during the year 1950, I think. A very smart man. There's no way I could, have that business mentality. It's really, I'm just a puppet. A silly puppet. Since the year of the Great Kanto earthquake was 1923, that means Grandfather was able to revive a near-dead Yoshida family to a level even higher than it had been before, in a span of only 20 to 30 years. With that, you think that he would revive the main family Odawara? I can't say that. But for some reason, he went and did something as crazy as buying an entire small island in the Izu Archipelago. Buying an entire island is not something that you can ordinarily do today. However, Grandfather was clever. He contacted GHQ and applied to the establishment of a marine resource base. He acquired this island as a business property and then regained it and claimed it as his own plot of land. Interesting. After the war, there were some prevention measures against food shortages, and furthermore, he had the sponsorship of GHQ, which meant that nobody could oppose him. It seems that Tokyo provided the land for next to no money at the time. Tokyo later made repeated complaints for the land to be returned, but not much could be done due to involvement of the GHQ, even though they'd been pushed into it. Being able to buy entire islands. Yeah. That'd be really something. You can have your own beach resort. Note that he bribed everyone there was to bribe. In the end, the city gave up in frustration. Grandfather, with considerable skills and blessed with good luck, managed to weather the stormy seas in that period, obtaining a vast fortune of his own island. Of course, that wasn't all luck. He was skilled in English and then cultivated by his Western obsession. In other words, he's a Westaboo. It was by using that as a weapon that he was able to make inroads into the GHQ. Mansion was immediately built for the island. That would be this mansion. Grandfather, who had loved the West, made this once inhabited island, Rokenjima, a canvas upon which he could realize his dream of his heart's content. Surprised Grandpa managed to get this much intact with the government to give him special privileges, right? The Western mansion that had always imagined overflowing with emotion, a beautiful garden where various roses had been planted. Not gonna lie, I kinda want to get through this part already. It's so much exposition. I want the character interactions. A private beach where nobody other than himself would be permitted to leave a footprint. To have this much would be every man's dream. After that, making good use of the huge fortune, he became a large stockholder in an extremely stable iron and steel industry and was able to live an easy and comfortable life using the dividends. Yes. Well, he's just that incredible. This kind of person normally gets portrayed after the fact that having the ability to foresee and predict the future or something. Gee, it's almost like he had help from a certain witch. Her grandfather denies all of that, repeatedly saying that he was simply blessed with extraordinary luck. Anyway, even a lord like that with all the dreams made real can't help but grow increasingly odd when he looked up alone in the island. Everyone knows he's been obsessed with the West for a very long time. But none of our parents really know when his bizarre black magic hobby began. Perhaps his love of black magic began way back in way back when he became fascinated with the West. Or possibly his miraculous touch of good luck, which allowed him to revive the family, caused him to feel a mysterious power in himself. Face witches sounds like yes. An e-thought witch. At some point, grandfather began to make the research of black magic in his life's work, filling his study with the suspicious books, chemicals, magic items as he became increasingly bizarre. These being the few remaining years of a person successful in life, those around him warmly watched over him, feeling the time that his to spend at his please, so I hear, but no way in hell that's true. They probably were just driven away thinking that's disturbing. I don't want to get involved. Well, this is a war-torn period. It was a time for being gambles with both opportunities at risk. I'd like to see grandfather do so well if he'd been born at this time period. He would have had no opportunities and would have probably have advanced like a chess piece from mandatory education at college at a leisurely pace. Also, hi Lanka, you made it just in time. You didn't really miss much. We're still going through the exposition. Never becoming more than an average company employee. That's life. How's that Biotorichi hunting doing? Good. Except we're still, you know, very far off until we finally see her big reveal, but I'm hoping that this Let's Play we get to at least see her manifested, you know? Because once she's introduced, that's where the story gets good. So we'll just have to endure the exposition dump right now. If that had happened, he'd probably be sitting here, the rest of us, regaling us with tales of shitty bosses. Yeah, just like us, for real, for real. No, not here in the dining hall of a mansion. We might have been around a table at some bar. If that were the case, I'm sure this would have been a more comfortable family conference. Yeah, the poor family conference. It's something we all can relate to. Alright, that's enough talk of the old geezer who won't pop off. Finally. More important, let's talk about the incredible lunch.
前菜の刺身のサラダで俺はすでに確信してたね。
Ah, it's kinda loud for me. 待ってね。Hold on. Let me save first, so I don't have to go through that again. I just wanna adjust the volume a bit. Voice volume. I think that should be fine. Pop off meaning die? I mean, might as well. I was already sold by the sashimi salad.
Koda-san は大したシェフだぜ。
Koda-san is one hell of a chef.
しかも魚は近海で取れたやつだろ。
Plus these fish were caught in the oceans near here, weren't they?
スーパーの刺身とはわけが違ったぜ。
The sashimi you get at the supermarket don't even come close. Man, I can go for some sashimi right now. Or sushi in general.
おいおいよせよバトラー。
Hey, quit it, Batora-kun.
育ちがバレちまうだろうが。
Your upbringing will be exposed. Everyone let out a big laugh. Damn it, you say that even though you love those cheap pups.
僕も仕事の都合で珍しいところで食事をすることもあるけど、それらと比べてもこれはかなりのものだよ。
My job occasionally leads me to eat at some quite interesting places, but even compared to those, this is an excellent dish. Sashimi salad, I'd not have that before. Me neither. Sounds good though. Though I never tried fish salad before.
ゴーダさんは多分その道じゃ少しは知られた人だったんじゃないかな。
I'd imagine you could have become reasonably well known in that field, Koda-san.
よくは知らねえんだけどよ。
I don't know too much about it, but
老舗ホテルでのれん分けだか派閥の分裂だかややこしいことがあってよ。
at the famous hotel where he used to work employee, politics got pretty complicated and everyone split into
そのトラブルで辞めざるを得なくなっちまったんだってさ。
In the middle of all that, he was apparently forced to retire.
それでその時偶然お袋が使用人の求人を出してたわけなんだよ。
And it just so happened that Mom had a job offers for a servant ad at the same time. As Goda cleared away the empty plates, he began to recount his own eventful past, never losing a smile.
世の中というのは難しいものです。
World is a difficult place.
しかし、そのおかげでこうして今日、後宮家で再び料理人として腕を振るう機会を賜ることができました。
However, it is thanks to that I was given a chance to display my skill as a chef once again, this time for the Yoshida-miya family.
大勢の方の笑顔も嬉しいですが、
Although I also enjoyed the smiles of a larger number of
お
people.
仕えすると決めた限られた方々にだけ喜んでいただくために繊細なお仕事ができるのもとても楽しいことでございます。
It is also extremely entertaining to be able to perform delicate work in order to please solely the limited number of people I pledged to serve. This dude is so fake. Yeah.
これもすべて機会をくださった奥様のおかげです。
He has that vibe that you just want to punch him in his face. All of this is thanks to the opportunity given to me by Madam. Goda-san respectfully bowed his head towards Aunt Natsuhi.
応募のあった中でゴーダが一番腕が良かったからです。
That is because among all of the applicants, you were the most talented.
客観的判断に基づくもので市場はありませんので感謝には及びません。
The decision was not based on personal feelings, but purely objective, so there is no need to thank me. Oh man, why does Aunt Natsuhi always have to speak so frankly? If only she spoke more gently, she might give off a different impression. Shannon! Shannon! Shannon, Chana, and Kumasawa-san entered the hall with the serving cart.
失礼いたします。
Please excuse me. Shanna is the least sus one of all. She is very sus. Old woman is very sus. Please excuse us.
それでは本日のデザートに移らせていただきます。
Now let us move to today's dessert. Goda-san and the others laid out beautifully adorned desserts. I guess it's true when they say you have another stomach for desserts. I thought that being fed all the delicious food had totally filled me up. But as soon as I laid eyes on dessert, my stomach started yelling, more! Oh, hi, Speedwagon. Hello, hello. I don't know much about dessert, but this looked really good. White pudding-like substance was garnished with 2 shades of red sauce. An elegant rose petal adorned the dish. When you dine on such magnificent food as this, first it distributes the front of everybody, and then the chef takes a moment to exalt the virtues of his creation. Until he is finished, as a rule, you don't touch the food. However, Maria who had no experience with these ceremonious rules, got excited by this beautiful and delicious-looking dessert and jumped into the fray as soon as it was placed before her. Auntie Rosa scolded her, calling it bad manners, but George-san responded by saying, now, it's alright. The lolly! Lolly. Ah, this one's sour! This one's sour! Batla, the wrong one is this one. Maria exclaimed as she sampled the 2 colored sauces.
なんだと？当たりと外れがあるのかよ。よし、俺も味見をしてやるぜ。
Wait, there's a right one and a wrong one? Alright, I'll give it a go. Apparently the 2 sauces were one sweet and one sour. Despite it being bad manners, I also stuck my fingers in and licked it. Well, one of them was sour enough to make me pucker up. If it were yellow, I'd have a suspected lemon, but I couldn't guess what kind of sourness would be red. I decided to ask Shannon, who was putting away the serving cart behind us.
シャノンちゃん、この酸っぱいのは何のソースだい？
Suplex. Shannon-chan, what kind of sauce in this sour stuff? Can Shannon be the dessert, please? I want to eat dessert off her bupa. I want the breed. Shannon-chan hesitated to speak. But she was just setting the table and doesn't really know. The art of triplets. She's hesitating a bit much for that though. Did I ask something wrong? Or did they use something that we better off not knowing about? While Anansi acted as though she had a headache, Kumasawa-san, who was sitting the other side of the table, began to laugh with a "Oh!"
何の材料を使っていると思いますか？
What do you think we made it out of?
驚きますよ。
It'll shock you. Top 10 ingredients you won't believe. Not clickbait. Click here for more sour results.
全然わかんねえぜ。
I don't have a clue.
というか、熊沢のばあさんがそういう笑い方すると不気味でならねえぜ。
I don't have a clue, and Kumasawa-san had laughed crispy the hell out.
で、何なんだよ、正体は。
What is it?
内緒ですよ。
Don't tell anyone, alright?
お耳を拝借。
Let me borrow your ears. Kumasawa-san leaned across the other side of the table. She asked to borrow my ears, and I leaned forward too. Their interest caught Jessica, George, and Aniki, and of course Maria also put their ears closer. What? What? Tell me. Tell me. Pretty sure it's a mistranslation because Hayuku usually means hurry up.
この酸っぱいのはですね。
The sour part as well.
実はお魚のサバの絞り汁ですよ。
Actually, actually squeezed juice from a mackerel. Oh ho 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 ho.
サバ？
Hey, mackerel! Don't be ridiculous. We all thought horrified. Only Maria accepted, nodding with a aha.
サバは酸っぱいよ。
Mackerels are sour?
絞ったらこうなる。
If you squeeze and this comes out? When Maria started clamoring that mackerel was sour, the adults were unable to contain their laughter.
違うわよ。酸っぱいのはしめ鯖でしょ。
You've got it wrong, that's vinegared mackerel. Auntie Rosa said to Maria in a small voice while turning red. Ah, now I remember perfectly. Kumasawa-san was always the kind of character, wasn't she? I think I remember her tricking me with all those kinds of things when I was young as well. Amongst all of them, the most painful must have been that one. That flimsy black stuff you get in Chinese food. Kikugare mushrooms. She told me it was penguin meat and I went all around school like a smartass telling everyone, didn't I?
熊沢のばあちゃん、相変わらずだな。
Kumasawa-bachan, you haven't changed, huh?
マリアが信じちゃうだろ？
You know Maria's gonna believe now, right?
冗談ですよ。
Ho ho ho, it's just a joke.
今からゴーダさんがソースの正体を教えてくれますからね。
Goda-san will tell you what the sauce is in just a moment. The ingredient has come. Sure, it's a joke. I wonder if that's some joke that doesn't translate well. I wonder. Goda-san looked like a put out of having its masterpiece laughed at in such a strange way. But after clearing his throat once, he introduced the dessert to us.
それではデザートのご説明をさせていただきます。
Well then, allow me to describe tonight's dessert.
本日はご来賓の皆様が大層お気に入りでございましたバラの庭園にちなみましてパンナコッタをローズガーデン風に仕上げてみました。
Okay, I love Grandma's the most so much. So wholesome. Yeah, I feel like she is very relatable to a lot of elderly who likes to joke around. Very lively people. Well, then allow me to describe tonight's dessert. Based on the rose garden that everyone seemed to enjoy today, I finished the panna cotta in a rose garden style.
散らしてございますバラの花びらは当家の庭園より先ほど採取してきたものでございます。
Those rose petals scattered across were selected just now from that rose garden.
ソースはストロベリーとローズヒップの2色の赤をご用意しました。
For the sauces, I have prepared two different reds for your strawberry and rose hip.
ストロベリーの甘味とローズヒップの酸味を交互にお楽しみになってください。
Please enjoy the strawberry sweetness and the rosehip sourness in the turn.
なお花びらは観賞用となっておりますので、避けてからお召し上がりくださいませ。
Finally, the rose petals are immediately decorated, so please set them aside before eating.
それではどうぞお楽しみください。
With that said, please enjoy. Ah, man, I almost want to applaud before I even eaten it. It's like when you take medicine, you know how it seems to work better when you've read the instructions. Thanks to Goda-san elaborating on the details of this dessert, I feel like he's knocked it up another notch. Seriously, should you call him a meticulous or just talented? The dessert was probably planned from the beginning, but he took a cue from our stopping in front of the rose garden earlier today, and displayed an incredibly timely awareness of the season just by adjusting a few rose petals from that garden. What's rosehip? That's a good question. Probably have to Google that later. This combination of sweet and sour was also exquisite. If it was just sweet, you'd just get used to it and become bored halfway through, but by bringing in the sour sauce on that point, you get a really vivid taste. And then, once you return to the sweet sauce, all the sourness in your mouth is replaced with enjoyable sweetness again. Rosehip or rosehip, also rose rod, rose hep, is an accessory fruit in the various species of rose plant. Interesting. Well, thank you, wizard. I'm sure everyone felt the same way. Every time Goda-san passed by one of the seats, someone praised the taste and his creation.
いかがですか、奥様。
How is it, madam?
相変わらず見事です。
Splendid as always.
お客様をおもてなしするに値します。
It is worthy treat for our guests.
恐れ入ります。
I am most grateful of your word.
奥様、ご存知ですか？
Madam, did you enjoy?
ローズヒップには頭痛に効く効果もあるそうですよ。
I have heard that rosehip has the ability to cure headaches.
奥様に特にお気に入りいただけるかと思い、特別にご用意させていただきました。
I thought that you would especially would appreciate it, so I had it specifically prepared.
そう、
Is that so?
ありがとう。
Thank you.
ほら言ったでしょ、夏姫さん。
Hey, didn't I tell you, Natsuhime-san?
ローズヒップは頭痛に効くって。
Rosehip works on headaches. Good to know.
みたいね。
So it seems.
聞くといいんだけど。
I can only hope it has some effect.
はあ、ゴーダさん、あんたには惚れるで。
Yeah. Goda-san, I love ya.
なあ、後であんたの待遇を聞かせてや。
Hey, later whisper me how much the compensation you're getting for this, won't you?
無理ならあんたの欲しい年収、指立ててくれるだけでもいいんやで。
If you're sworn to silence, you could stick up some fingers and send let me know your price.
あんたの腕がこの島だけで独占されとるのは人類の食文化に対する冒涜や。
Having her talent monopolized by the small island is sacrilege to humanity's cooking
そ
culture.
の腕、わしの会社で振るってお客の皆さんを喜ばせてみる気はないかのう。
Would you be willing to display your talent to all the customers at my company?
秀吉さん、
Heh, Hideyoshi-san,
うちのゴーダを引き抜かれるのですか？
are you trying to recruit our Goda?
これは困った。
How troubling.
ゴーダの待遇をもっと良くしないと引き抜かれてしまいそうだ。
We had better make some improvements to his salary or he'll get snatched away.
そうした方がいいわね。
Eh, yes, you really should.
じゃないと引き抜かれて、3食が熊沢さんのサバ料理にされちゃうわよ。
If you don't, he'll be lured away and you'll be stuck with the 3 meals a day of Kumasawa-san style macro cooking, won't you?
これは手厳しゅうございます。
That is indeed harsh.
すっかり根に持たれてしまいまして。
It seems someone's holding a grudge. Everyone let out a huge laugh. According to Jessica, Kumasawa-san's mackerel jokes were a type of running gag, and her parents had long since gotten used to it. Kumasawa-san often claimed the mackerel contained precious nutrients that can do things to such prevent aging and make people smarter. It seemed that while it couldn't stop the outward signs of aging, it helped preventing aging on the inside. Since she was healthy enough to still tell kinds of jokes at her age, that benefit must have been a real thing.
それでは失礼いたします。
Well then, if you'll excuse me,
夕食にはふるって
prepare yourself for tonight's dinner.
たくさんのサバ料理をお召し上がりいただきますので、どうぞご期待くださいませね。
I'll be cooking plenty of mackerel dishes for you to eat, so look forward to it.
期待してるよ。
We sure
今
will.
晩はしめ鯖でキュッとしゃれ込みたいぜ。
I'll treat myself to some vinegared mackerel tonight.
それは素敵ね。
That sounds wonderful.
ついでに日本酒の美味しいのも出てこないかしら。
I wonder if any delicious Japanese sake will be included.
ええ、ございますよ。
Oh, certainly will.
六軒島名物のサバ焼酎なるものがございまして。
How about some of the famous Rokijima mackerel liquor? Oh man. So Masawa-san together with Shannon-chan bowed and pushed the serving carts away. Amusingly, Goda-san had looked just as though his stock has been stolen from him and explained very seriously that tonight's dinner would actually be cow steak.
熊沢さん、さっきはありがとうございました。
Kumasawa-san, thank you for doing that back there. As she pushed the serving cart, Shannon bowed her head very deeply.
なんもお礼を言われることなんてありません。
I haven't done anything that requires thanks. Kumasawa played dumb, but it was no accident that she had thrown Shannon a lifeline. Back when Bachelor had asked for the details of the dessert, Shannon had unfortunately hesitated. There had been several ways to dodge the question, but all of them should have been delivered deftly. Shannon, who hesitated with the hard press for a response, had been suffering because of the small weakness. If only Shannon, like Goda, had a little craftiness needed for skillfully shake off a mistake, her days would have been a little more comfortable. This weakness was especially fortunate considering how flawlessly she could have handled her work. Of course, she were those who well understood Shannon's meek nature and her inability to remember to gloss over her mistakes, which is why Kumasawa-san came to her aid without hesitation.
さっき源氏さんが午後のシフトに変更があるとおっしゃってましたよ。
Grandma Chad, I just heard from Genji-san that there has been a change to the afternoon shifts.
確かシャノンさんは夕方までお休みがもらえたと思いました。
I believe you were given a break until this evening.
羨ましい。
Ho ho ho! I am jealous.
すみません。シフト表を確認していませんでした。
I'm sorry, I haven't checked the list of shifts yet.
そうそう。
Ah, yes.
オーブンでこれからちょっとサバを焼こうと思ってるんですよ。
I was thinking I might start cooking some mackerel in the oven.
できたらお休みの前にちょっと手伝ってくれると嬉しいですね。
If you don't mind, I'd be happy if you help me out a bit before your break.
はい。
Yes,
喜んでお手伝いさせていただきます。
I would be delighted to help. Shannon Kumasawa-san was like a mother among the servants. The dining hall needed to be cleaned up, so we were chased out. Instead of tea, would be served in the parlor. It seemed that they would be preparing the black tea that Auntie Rosa had brought for Aunt Nasuhi. Maria insisted that she also wanted to drink the black tea, but was rejected by the old bastard who told her that the rest of us kids go to play outside.
バトラ君、みんなで表に散歩に行かないかい？
Hey, Bataru-kun, why don't we go for a walk outside?
バラでも見に行ったらええ。
Go look at the roses or something.
でも天気には十分注意するんやで。
But keep a close eye on the weather.
空はまだ明るいが、天気予報は降る降ると繰り返しちょる。
The sky is so clear, but weather report kept talking about a rain.
マリアは海がいい、海がいい。
I went to the beach, I went to the beach!
あら素敵じゃない？
Isn't that a wonderful idea?
砂浜で遊ぶなんて普段はなかなかできないものね。
Isn't that a wonderful idea? Playing on a sandy beach isn't something that you get to do often, is it?
そっか。
Guess not.
よし。じゃあみんなで浜辺でも行こうぜ。
Go to sandy beach then.
行こう。
Oh, let's go!
マリア、服を濡らさないようにするのよ。
Hi, R6. You just made in time for Lolicani action. Maddie is rather cute. She is very cute, very breathable. But not the only lolly on Umineko. Maria, be careful not to get your clothes
靴も
wet.
よ。
Your shoes too.
濡らさ
Won't get wet. Yes, you will.
素直で可愛い。
And so obedient, so kawaii.
バトラ君、マリアちゃんの面倒ちゃんと見てあげてね。
Petra-kun, make sure you keep an eye out for Maria-chan, okay?
おうよ任せろ
Yes, let me take care of the small lolly. Your thing, leave it to me.
ほう。お前もキリエに頼まれると素直で可愛いじゃねえ
Pretty cute and obedient too when Kitty asks you something, huh?
か。たまには俺の言うことも素直に聞いてみろよ。
Why don't you try listening to me obediently for a change?
まっぴらごめんだぜ
Hell no.
行こうぜみんな
Let's
ほら
go.
ほら
Let's go, everyone. Come on. They are replaced by Genji, who is pushing a serving cart in and prepared the black tea. Parlor was filled with sublime aroma, who entertained everyone while they were waiting for to appease their thirst.
ルドルフのところは家族仲がいいじゃないか。
Rudolph, you and your family all seem to get along as well as each other.
良いことだ。
Good for you.
よせよ。兄貴のところには負けるぜ。
Oh, please, you have us beat on that front.
そうよ。
So true.
ジェシカちゃん、本当に可愛らしく育ったじゃない。
Not true. Jessica-chan really has grown into an innocent little thing, hasn't she?
これも夏日姉さんの教育の賜物ね。
It's all the fruits of your training, isn't it, Natsuhi-san?
どうも。
Thank you. Natsuhi answered coldly. With that, the conversation halted and all the parlor seemed silent. Also because he couldn't stand it anymore, Hideyoshi broke the silence while performing the exaggerated gesture.
しかし成長は早いもんやで。
Still, they sure do grow fast.
いつまでも子供だと思っとったが、図体はみるみるでかくなり、いつの間にか大人の仲間入りや。
I thought they'd be kids forever, but they've been getting huge right before our eyes, and before I knew it, they joined the ranks of us adults.
バトラ君なんか見違えたで。
Batakun, for one, is beyond recognition.
体は大きくなりましたけど、まだ子供です。
His body's gotten much bigger. He is still a child.
うちの主人も未だに子供ですけれど。
Well, my husband's still a child as well.
子供と大人の境ってどこなのかしらね。
I wonder where the border between child and adult is. Good question.
私、未だに大人になったって自覚が持てない。
I still don't feel as though I've grown up.
情けないじゃないか。
Huh, isn't that pitiful?
一児の母の言うことではない。
That's not something the mother of a child would say.
そうね。
That's right.
私たちももう子供じゃない。
We're not children anymore, but I'm still baby though.
大人同士よ。
We're all adults.
だから感情的にならず、知的な会話をしたいわね。
I would like it if we could all hold an intellectual discussion without becoming emotional. Talking about his pee-pee getting bigger. Ugh. Whenever smiled with a sharp sarcasm, everyone seemed to get more tense. It felt like the smell of the tea had become prepared so carefully just flew out the window.
知的な会話なら昔からいつも心がけているじゃないか。
All have always strived to hold intellectual
お
discussions.
前の嫌味は時に的を外している。
Your sarcasm is a little placed sometimes.
昔から変わらない。
You never change in that respect.
昔からいつもですって？
Always strived, is it?
あらあら。
Ara. My mind.
その言葉をきれいに放送して何十年か前のこの部屋に届けてあげたいわね。
I wish I could wrap those words up and send them to this room a few decades ago.
ねえローザ。
Ne, Rosa. Mysterious pretty baby loves a poor baby puppet. Naku. Rosa smiled with a vague expression. Whether she agreed or disagreed, she knew that she would earn the displeasure of either her brother or her sister. It was a bit of a worldly wisdom that she needed to learn as the youngest sibling.
よせよ姉貴。
Quit it, Aniki.
ガキどもがいない間に本題に入ろうじゃねえか。
We should enter to the main topic while the brats aren't around, right?
それこそ知的な話よ。
Let's make that our intellectual discussion. As Rudolph glanced over the faces of all present, some let out a slight sigh and some let a small look of resignation cross their face. This was unavoidable, true agenda.
去年の時点で余命3ヶ月だったんだ。
Honestly, Chad, we always have intellectual discussion. We talk about cunning. And that's the best discussion of all between adults. Last year, his life expectancy was estimated just about 3 months.
ってことは、すでにマイナス9ヶ月ってことじゃねえか。
Which means he's already at -9.
いつお迎えが慌ててすっ飛んでくるかもわからねえ状態ってことだぜ。
The Grim Reaper could be coming through the window in a blind panic at any moment. Oh no, is Callie gonna make an appearance?
当主様は今でも健在でおられます。
Family head is still in good health.
このような不穏当な話を日も明るいうちからなさろうとするなど、ルドルフさんの正気を疑わざるを得ません。
No true wizard. Facts. Always about cunning. Raising such an inappropriate topic while the sun is so bright, I must question whether you are in the right mind, Rudolph-san.
だがな、夏日さん。
Still Natsuhi-san.
こういうしょっぱい話はいざことがあってからじゃ遅いんや。
If we don't discuss this until something happens, it'll be too late.
今が元気だからこそ余裕あるうちにしとくもんなんやで。
He's still healthy now, so we've got to figure out something while we still have some time left.
これも財産のエチケットみたいなもんや。
It's kind of a financial etiquette.
諸君の関心は親父殿のようじゃないか。
It seems as though everyone is concerned about father.
南條先生、
Dr. Nanjo,
あなたから説明してくださいませんか。
can we hear the details from you? Yes, which one of these family members is gonna get the e-girl money that father has earned so effortlessly?
彼らもそれをお望みらしい。
It seems as though they're also hoping for that. Nanjo, standing by the window and staring out at the rose garden, let out a single cough when he realized that he was being called.
南條先生、
Dr. Nanjo,
お父様の具合はどんな感じなんですか？
how is father's condition?
まずはじめに、
Well, first,
私が去年申し上げました余命3ヶ月という言葉が一人歩きをしているようですので、その訂正からいたします。
my first estimate last year is that he had only 3 months to live since he appeared to be making his presence felt. So allow me to start by correcting it.
言われずともわかるわ。
No need to explain.
余命というのはあくまでも見込みであって約束ではないとおっしゃられるのよね。
You're saying that measuring remaining life is only a prediction, not a promise, right?
さようです。
That is correct.
ですから皆さんからたびたびお尋ねを受けますが、いつ亡くなるのかということは決して断言できないことなのです。
That is correct, but because of that, I can offer no definitive answer to the question you also often ask me. So when will he pass away?
人の命は体と心に支えられております。
A human's life is supported by their body and their mind.
体が弱れば危うくもなりますが、それを補う心の強さがあれば小康状態を維持することもあるのです。
If the body is weak, the situation becomes more dangerous. But if the mind is strong enough to compensate for that weakness, it is possible to remain in a state of remission.
体はともかく、お心はまだしっかりしていて、意気健康でいらっしゃれるということですね。
So you're saying that even if his body is weak, his mind is still firm and spirited.
キリエ、すまんがしばらく黙っててくれ。
It is sorry, but please stay quiet for a while.
ごめんなさい。
Howie,
さようです。
that is correct.
金蔵さんの体はすっかり病魔に蝕まれております。
Kinzo-san's body has been ravaged by disease.
ましてやあのような強いお酒をたしなまれ続けては とてもとても。
With him continuing to partake in that kind of strong liquor, culpable that I must really think.
崖っぷちなのも酒のせい。
So booze is the reason he's teetering on the edge. Oh god, the memories are coming back now. Hang on, I'm gonna listen to your pee again. Do it, Lanka, do it.
流らえてるのも酒のせいか。
And booze is also the reason he's hanging on. That and witch e-girl feet pics.
酒豪の親父らしいね。
Sounds like Dad's a heavy drinker.
それで先生、もちろん見込みで結構なんですけども。
Well then, Doctor, I know you can't give anything more than that prediction.
お父様、来年の今日まではさすがにどうかしら。
But what do you think about Father's chance of living under this day until next year?
当主様に対してあまりに無礼な質問です。
That is quite the rude question to ask about the head. Natsuki jumped on Eva, unable to hide her astonished expression. In response, Eva returned a definitive look, but Hideyoshi noticed and tried to smooth things over a forced smile.
ああ、夏井さん、カニな。
Natsuki-san, forgive her.
エヴァ、お前も少し言葉を選ばんか。
Forgive her. Eva, try and choose your words a bit more carefully, okay?
ごめんなさい。
Sorry.
お父様の容体が気になって仕方なかったもので。
I was just so concerned of our father's condition. What are you testing, JB? Is the stream going buggy for you?
そうですか。
Is that so?
それは気づきませんでした。
I hadn't realized.
南條先生、聞かせてやってください。
Dr. Nanjo, please tell us.
父親の寿命を気遣う娘の麗しい家族愛じゃないですか。
Internet wonky. I hope it's not too bad over in your end. Internet's going okay for me, I think. I'm still on the green. It's all good on my end. Hopefully it'll be the same for you. Dr. Nanjo, please tell us, for the sake of the beautiful family, love of a daughter worried about her father's lifespan. Rouse laughed sarcastically and Eva, smiling sweetly, returned an identical chuckle.
来年までお元気かという質問ですが。
You asked whether he will still be healthy next year?
医者の私としてはとても難しい。
But it's a very difficult question for me as a doctor.
この小康状態がまだしばらくは続くようにも思いますし、何らかの発作が来れば、その時にはどうしようもないかもしれません。
Well, I do think this remission will last for a while yet. If he suffers some kind of fit, there may be nothing we can do.
何しろ、六軒島は孤島です。
After all, Rokenjima is a solitary island.
すぐに救急車が飛んでこれるわけではありません。
It's not as though an ambulance can come rushing in to save him.
本来ならば、本土のしかるべき大病院に入院していただきたいところなのですが。
Normally, I would want him to have him hospitalized in a large hospital in the mainland, but
親父殿は高尚な研究を中断されたくないと仰せだ。
Father stated that he does not want his noble research interrupted.
去年無理に連れ出そうとしたのがあだになったらしい。
It seems he holds a grudge over the way we tried to force him out last year.
外へ出れば病院に閉じ込められてしまうのではないかとひどくお疑いになられていてな。
Apparently, he strongly suspects that he'll be shut away in some hospital if he goes outside.
すっかりこのざまなのだよ。
And that's how things are now.
南條先生の診察は受けておられるの？
Has Dr. Nanjo been examining him?
親父殿は南條先生には心を許しておられる。
Father trusts Dr. Nanjo.
機嫌が良ければ診察も受けられるようだがね。
It seems he can be examined when in a good mood.
容体を見はするが、薬を勧めようとも入院を勧めようとも聞き入れてくれ。
I can examine his condition, but if I tried to recommend medicine or hospitalization, he refused to listen.
本当に見るだけですがな。
I've really only been able to look.
お医者嫌いの方もおるもんや。
Is it true that there are people that hate doctors? Yes.
しかし困ったもんだのう。
Still, what a hassle. Nanjo sighed deeply. The purpose of an examination was to determine that medical treatment was appropriate. Receiving an examination was not following the advice given made the whole thing pointless.
つまりおさらいすると、
Then, in summary,
相変わらず余命は3ヶ月。
his expected life is still 3 months.
禁止のまま。あとどれだけ長らえるか見当もつかねえってことだ。
And there's no way to guess how long he will continue to live while still on the verge of death.
ルドルフさん、
Rudolph
言
san,
葉を少し慎まれてはいかがですか？
couldn't you be more discreet with your words?
ああ、すまんね。
Sorry.
昔からこういう口の利き方なんだ。
Hopefully if it helps JB, maybe you can maybe reset a PC or something. Hopefully it's not too bad. Sorry. I've always talked
勘
this
弁
way.
してくれ。
Cut me a break.
南條先生のご意見は分かりました。
I understand Dr. Nanjo's opinion.
クラウス兄さんから見てどうなの？
What do you think, Krasni-san?
実を言うと南條先生とは異なる意見でね。
To be perfectly honest, I have to disagree with Dr.
とて
Nanjo.
も余命3ヶ月の重病人とは思えないというのが本心だ。
I find it truly difficult to see father as a person so sick that he would only have 30 months to live.
怒鳴り声は相変わらず健在で、いつぶん殴られるかとヒヤヒヤしっぱなしだよ。
His yell is as healthy as ever and still get the chills as though his fist raining down on me.
長男にだけ親父の世話を押し付けるのは実にフェアではないね。
Pushing the task of caring for dad solely on the shoulders of eldest son is far from fair.
来世では俺より後に生まれろよ。
The next role, be born after me.
さて、話を戻そうぜ。
Alright, let's return to our discussion.
そんなわけで、公正中立なお医者の先生の見解じゃ、いつお隠れになっちまってもおかしくない状態だ。
In that case, according to impartial and neutral doctor's opinion, it wouldn't be odd for him to go anytime.
兄貴には悪いが、ここは専門家の意見を採用させてもらうぜ。
Sorry, Aniki, but I'd rather trust the opinion of a specialist.
となりゃ、決して親父の財産を話し合うことは、時期尚早ではないってことさ。
With that, I believe the discussion of dad's fortune is no longer a premature topic.
お父様の個人資産はおそらく数百億にも届くでしょうね。
Father's personal funds probably reach to tens of billions of yen, right?
でもそれは綺麗な現金で揃ってるわけじゃないわ。
But it's not as though all of it is neatly gathered as ready
お
cash.
誕生会のケーキみたいに綺麗にナイフが入ってカットできるほど単純じゃないでしょ。
It's not as simple as nearly cutting a birthday cake with a knife.
姉貴の例えは面白いな。
Interesting metaphor, Aniki.
そうさ。ケーキの上にはイチゴやらチョコの家やらが乗ってて、綺麗に等分するのが難しいことだってあるだろ。
That's right, sometimes strawberries or chocolates are placed on top of the cake, making it hard to cleanly divide into equal parts.
それを加味してどういう風にナイフを入れるのか先に相談しておくのは大切なことだと思うぜ。
Taking that into consideration, I think it's important to first discuss how to best stick the knife in, don't you?
それを当主様が存命のうちからさも他界なされたかのように声高に議論される皆さんの気が知れません。
I truly don't understand you all. Even while the head is still alive, you're discussing the matter in loud voices as though you were already dead.
あら、必要な話よ。
Come on now, don't you see how important this is?
だって遺産相続はその時点で直ちに行われなきゃならないものよ。
After all, when the time comes, the inheritance of the fortune must be carried out immediately, right? Dang, she's a hungry bitch.
ましてや栄光ある後宮家の財産は莫大。
Moreover, the wealth of the glorious Yoshinoya house is vast.
事前に入念な相談が必要なことはお分かりでしょうが。
Don't you understand that the careful discussion is necessary beforehand?
当家の資産はあなたのご実家とは大違いなんだから。
There's a huge difference between the assets of the family and your old one.
失礼な。
How rude!
私の実家は関係ありません。
The family I was born to has nothing to do with this. As Natsu resentfully responded in a low voice, the already dark atmosphere grew even more hostile.
予算買えば
Give it a rest, Eva!
夏井さん堪忍な。
Natsu-san, forgive us.
口が悪いのは許したってな。
Pardon her rudeness. Hideyoshi tried to smooth things out by glancing at both with a forced smile, but it only resulted in making the hostility between Eva and Natsu even more intense.
これ以上はお邪魔なようですな。
Eva being such a bitch is still my favorite ever. She definitely has some good attitude. It seems that I will just be in a way if I stay any longer.
失礼させていただきましょう。
Please excuse me. Nancho rose from his seat and exited the parlor. This may have been a normal act of courtesy expected of an outsider, but even so, his back was watched by several glancing envious of his ability to escape. After the doctor had exited, for his footsteps had disappeared in the distance, he crossed his legs.
つまりお前たちの言い分はこうかね。
Let me see if I understand your point of view correctly.
親父殿の余命は短い。
Father's remaining life is short.
遺産分配について早急かつ具体的な協議に入りたい。
You want to quickly enter into a practical conference concerning the distribution of the inheritance.
何を焦っているのかね。
Why are you so eager, I wonder?
確かにお前たちの言う通り、後宮家の財産を算定し分配するのは簡単なことではないだろう。
Certainly, as you say, estimating the distributing the Yoshirame family wealth is no simple task.
なれば、じっくりと算定すべきじゃないのかね。
In that case, shouldn't we carefully and deliberately calculate?
お前たちは今晩のうちにもケーキを切り分けたいと焦っているように見える。
It seems to me that you're all impatient to split up the cake tonight.
そうだろう、ローザ。
That's true, isn't it, Rosa?
何を焦ることがあるのかね。
Is something making you impatient?
焦ってるわけじゃない。
It's not that we're impatient.
でも、兄弟の間での取り決めは必要。
But a decision between the sibling is essential.
それはいつでもいいことだけれども。
Doesn't matter when.
お父様の具合が悪くなっていて、その日が近づいているというなら。
But if father's condition is worsening and the day is drawing near.
先に話だけしておいても、それは請求とは言わないと思うし。
Discussing the matter beforehand isn't what I would call impatience. Rosa sneaked a glance at Ava and rode off. As the youngest daughter in the family, being cross-examined by the eldest was harsh.
ほう、それはお前の本心かね。
Is that your true opinion?
兄弟で一番素直で綺麗な心を持っていたお前がそんなことを言い出すとは思えんね。
I didn't expect the most honest and pure-hearted of the siblings would say something like that.
そこの二人に吹き込まれたんじゃないのかね。
I wonder if those two told you to say that.
よせよ兄貴。
What did Aniki?
ローザだって兄弟だぜ。
Rosa's a sibling, just like the rest of us.
親父の遺産に公平な権利がある。
He has a fair right to dad's inheritance.
関心を持つのは当然じゃねえか。
It's obvious she would be interested, right?
親父だっていつかは必ず死ぬし、それは遠い未来の話でもない。
After all, dad will definitely die and it's not something that'll happen in the distant future.
むしろ兄貴が悠長すぎるくらいさ。
On the contrary, Aniki, you are far too relaxed.
まるで遺産分配から話をそらしたくて仕方がないように見えるぜ。
It seems almost as though you would like nothing better than to turn the discussion away from the distribution of the inheritance.
それはどういう意味ですか？
What do you mean by that?
主人にやましいところがあるとおっしゃいたいのですか？
Are you trying to accuse my husband of something?
まあ夏日さん
Calm down, Natsuhi.
話は聞いておくなあれ。
Listen to what we have to say.
兄さん、今は大変強気だそうじゃない？
Nisan, I hear these are a very good time nowadays.
そうよね。去年以降、空前の好景気で円は上がる一方。
That's right, since last year, the yen has just been going up and thanks to the unprecedented boom in prosperity.
ドルが100円に至るのだって夢物語じゃなさそうよ。
It seemed that it's no longer a dream that the dollar will reach 100 yen.
それに、与党は来年頃に保養地整備法を成立させようっていうじゃない。
Also, the ruling party says that it'll be established a health resort maintenance law by next year.
今や日本中のリゾート開発会社がどれだけ軍資金を集められるかって奔走してるところよ。
At this moment, resort development companies across Japan are running about things trying to gather as much capital as they can.
詳しいじゃないか。
You know your stuff.
これから日本には空前の好景気が訪れる。
Soon, Japan will see an unprecedented boom.
親父殿が後ろ宮家を再興した時と同じくらいの大規模な需要拡大の時代がね。
Another case like the Korean War demands.
日本国民は死に物狂いで働き、高度経済成長を実現して世界で一番豊かな国民となり、我が世の春を謳歌するようになった。
And become the most prosperous people in the world. They're enjoying the height of its prosperity.
国民の消費は増大し、それを回収できる施設があぶく銭を手にする時代になったのだよ。
Private spending has increased in institutions that can profit from that can make easy money in that era.
今や国民のニーズは3種の電化製品ではない。
The people's needs are no longer merely the essential three electric appliances.
スキー場、ゴルフ場、総合プール。
Places to ski, to golf, public
リ
pools,
ゾートホテルにテーマパーク。
resort hotels, and theme parks.
数年前に開業したデルゼニーランドには行ったかね。
Who'd like Disneyland? Disneyland. Disneyland. Oh man, I can't wait to see Monkey Mouse. Have you gone to Disneyland, which opened just a few years ago?
素晴らしい遊園地じゃないか。
What an excellent theme park that
あ
is.
そこでは大人も童心に帰り家族で楽しむことができるんだ。
In that place, even an adult can be a kid and have fun with this family. I think this era, the game takes place in the 80s, which makes sense because Tokyo Disneyland did, I think opened up like around the 80s as well.
かつて家族を顧みずに滅私奉公することだけが美徳だった時代はもはや終わろうとしている。
Yes, off-brand Pinocchio. The old era where the only virtue was to selflessly devote yourself into your country and while failing to consider your family is ending.
我々は世界で一番豊かな国民としてようやくそれを享受できるようになったのだよ。
The old era where only virtue was selflessly devoted to yourself to the country while failing to consider your family is ending. Now it's the most prosperous people in the world that can finally accept that.
クラウス兄さんの読みは大したもんや。
Krauss-san, your foresight is something else. Yeah, Michael Mouse or Ricky Mouse.
わしも数年前に聞いた時はそんなアホなと思ったわ。
When I heard this several years ago, I thought it was ridiculous.
でもな、G5 のプラザ合意聞いてから変わったんや。
But when I heard about G5 nations, that's an accord that changed.
円はみるみる強くなり、地価はこれから天井知らずに上がるやろ。
The yen's getting stronger and stronger, and the price of land will skyrocket soon, I bet.
日本が世界経済の中心になる日も遠くはない。
The day that Japan becomes the most economic center of the world isn't far off.
兄さんは時代を見る目のあるお人や。
You have very forward-looking view.
それだけは間違いないで。
There's no mistaking that, at least.
秀吉兄さんに同じだ。
I feel the same, Hideyoshi-san.
兄貴は10年越しで時代を読めてるよ。
Aniki, you can read into the next decade of history.
その嗅覚は親父譲りだろうな。
That keen sense surely came from Dad.
大したもんだぜ。
That's incredible.
だが親父と違ってちょいと見通しのタイミングを読み違っちまったところはあるよな。
However, unlike that, there has been some cases where the timing of your predictions can be mistaken, haven't there?
兄さんは必ず日本が好景気を迎えると信じてあちこちにリゾート計画を起こし、そのほとんどで失敗し続けたわ。
He says, believing that Japan will definitely face an economic boom, you have been launching resort projects everywhere, and almost all of them continue to fail.
兄さんの読み通りの時代は確かに訪れつつあるけど、その時期を読むことには失敗したわね。
Well, I'm sure that the area you predicted is arriving. It seems that you misread the timing of that boom.
早すぎたのよ。
You were too early.
そして焦って清算して結局は傷口を広げたわ。
And then you hurriedly tried to sell everything off as a result opened wound even
本
further.
当に嗅覚が当てになって好景気が訪れることを読めていたなら清算するわけない。
Even if your nose was really so reliable and you predicted the coming of a boom, there should be no reason for you to sell off her property.
これって兄さんが自分で自分の才能を信じてない証拠じゃないの？
Isn't this proof that you don't trust your own ability?
失礼な。
How rude!
主人を侮辱するつもりですか？
Are you trying to insult my husband? God, the family drama. It's like a soap opera. Natsuki's forehead creased as she rose from her sofa. Eva, paying no head, stared across with a confident smile. Natsu also maintained his confidence, appeared told Natsuki to sit down.
よさないか夏日。
They stopped Natsuki.
昔からこういう言い方しかできないやつだ。
My little sister is incapable of speaking any other way and has always been.
少し落ち着きなさい。
Calm yourself a little.
また頭痛に触る。
Man, the character art is so expressive. Yes, I can really appreciate the sprite work that went into this game. Of course, this is just a remaster, so of course they would have to do everything from the ground up, and I'm glad they did. Also, the voice acting is really top-notch. Like, even though the sprites are like very static, they don't really move much unless, you know, they wanted to shift expressions. The voice acting really sells it and really makes it more believable, you know? Please tell Natsuki my little sister is incapable. Calm yourself a little, your headache will get worse.
兄さんに才能がない証拠は私たちのすぐ近くにもあるわよ。
Proof they have no talent is also right here.
だって兄さん、この島をリゾート化するって張り切ってたじゃない？
After all, Natsuki, weren't you all excited about turning this island into a resort?
素敵なリゾートホテルも建てて、庭園もきれいに整備して。
Building a wonderful resort hotel, beautifully maintaining the garden.
私は素人だから分かりかねるけど、相当のお金を使ったんでしょう。
I'm just an amateur and I don't pretend to understand, but you must have had a significant amount of money, right?
だから何だというのですか？
What are you trying to say?
主人の事業はあなたとは関係ありません。
My husband's business, nothing to do with you.
いや、そいつは違うぜ、夏日さん。
Actually, that's not true, Natsuki-san.
六軒島は兄貴のものじゃない。
Rokkenjima's not Aniki's.
親父のものだ。
It's Dad's.
もちろん建てたホテルは兄貴のものだぜ。
The hotel that was constructed is Aniki's, of course. Voice acting has been amazing. I agree. That was the art. Of course, my own voice acting isn't doing any justice, but that's okay. I'm just here to translate. Or at least read what's on the screen. Because I know a few lurkers are probably watching this right now, or will watch this later when the VOD comes up. Maybe they don't want to have to look at the screen all the time, they just want to hear what's being translated. That's fair enough.
なんなら、俺たちは今夜の宿泊料を払ってやってもいいさ。
If you like, you can charge us launching fees tonight.
な、ローザ。
Right, Rosa?
それはまあ
Well,
持ち合わせで足りるなら
if what I have on hand will suffice.
リゾート化できればこの島の資産価値は上がる。
Not sure, mister. You're doing great. Thank you. I try my best. But also being very thirsty, but I have water on me. If I can make it to resort, the island's financial worth will rise.
支出がかさんだことは事実だが、未来に大きな収穫を期待できる。
It is true that expenses have piled up, but we can hope for a large harvest in the future.
そうなれば、結果的にお前たちにとっても有益なはずじゃないか。
When that happens, it should be proved to be beneficial to all of you as well.
それはわかるわよ。
I understand that.
この島の価値が上がればそれを遺産分配する時の私たちの取り分も増えるもの。
If the value of the island rises, that will increase our shares when we distribute the inheritance.
もちろん、島や屋敷を4分の1ずつ切り取れとは言わないわ。
Of course, we won't ask you to physically divide the island and match the 4 equal parts.
それを算定したお金で解決してくれればいいだけの話よ。
Of We're quite happy to settle this with whatever you can calculate its financial worth to be.
そこまで分かっているなら、私の事業に何の不満があるんだね。
If you understand that much, what would be my business to make you so dissatisfied?
不満じゃねえさ。
We aren't
不安な
dissatisfied.
のさ。
We aren't dissatisfied, we're uneasy.
第一兄貴。
In the first place, Aniki,
あのホテル、いつになったら開業するんだ？
when do you plan to open that hotel?
このままじゃ、俺たちの手垢だらけになっちまうぜ。
Keep this up and every square inch of this will be covered in our grubby handprints.
そうよ。
That's right.
大切な商売道具でしょ。
It's an important tool for your business, isn't it?
確かに開業するまでずっと鍵をかけておくわけにもいかないわよね。
I understand that you can't keep it locked up until the moment of it opened for business.
少しは使って風通しを良くしないと建物は傷んじゃうもの。
Buildings go bad if you don't use them and air them out every once in a while.
でも私たちが年に一度泊まるだけのゲストハウスって言うんじゃちょっと豪勢すぎやしないかしら。
Even so, it's a bit extravagant for a guest house that we should use once a year.
ねえローザ。
What do you say, Rosa?
そうね。
Right.
あんなに素敵ならオープンしたらさぞや人気が出るでしょうね。
That's right. Man, my reading is so bad. If it's that wonderful, I'm sure it'll become quite popular once you open it.
ああ、あなたが前に言ってたホテルってゲストハウスのことだったのね。
The hotel you mentioned earlier was referring to the guest house, I see.
立派なもんだろ？
Hell of a building, isn't it?
ローザの言う通り、オープンできたら人気が出るだろうよ。
Just as Rosa said, I'm sure it'll become popular if you were to open it. The lodging that had been guided to have not been constructed with the intent of building a guest house. It was originally constructed as a resort hotel. However, even though it's been completely 2 years ago, there has been absolutely no schedule for it to be open.
兄さんのいつもの事業と同じよ。
Nissan is just like all of you enterprises.
着目や企画はご立派。
Your attention and planning are both fabulous.
そしていつも途中で立ち行かなくなって何も回収できずに終わる。
And it becomes always unable to maintain itself partway and ends without being able to collect any profit.
この島をただ住むだけにしか使わないのはもったいないって兄貴の着眼は立派さ。
It was brilliant for you to spot when it was a waste to use this island only as a place to live.
そしてリゾート化してマリンスポーツやらフィッシングやらハネムーンやらを誘致して盛り上げようってのはなかなかいい絵だったと思うぜ。
I think that turning into a resort which could use as a marine sports, fishing, honeymoon, or to attract customers was a pretty good plan.
俺だって長男だったならこの島を何かに有効利用できないかと頭をひねったに違いないさ。
If I were the oldest son, I'm sure I too would have racked my brains over what kind of profit I could get out of this island.
でももう出来上がってから2年も経つのよ。
But 2 full years have passed since you finished building, right?
2年経って未だに開業のめどはつかないの？
After 2 years, you still don't know where you'll be able to open it?
任せてる管理会社はどこ？
Where is the managing company you entrusted to?
失敬な。
Inheritance.
それは主人の手落ちではありません。
That is not my husband's fault.
主人の仕事を請け負う会社間でトラブルが生じているだけで、うちはあくまでも被害者です。
There has just been some trouble with the company that my husband's contracted with. No matter how you look at it, we are victims here.
しかしな。
That's the thing, though.
クラウス兄さんが任せてる例のとこ、あまり噂は聞かんで。
The company that Kraus Nissan hired, I haven't had many good rumors about it, you know?
はっきり言ってあげなさいよ。
Let's not beat around the bush.
不払い横領トラブルで計画が空中分解しちゃったって話。私たちの耳に届かないとでも思ってる？
The project is disintegrated midway due to non-payment embezzlement and the other troubles. Did you think the rumors would have reached our ears?
裏も取れてるんだから。
I've been collecting evidence.
何の裏だか存じませんが、事実無根です。
I bet someone out there must have gotten like a replica tattoo of the one-winged eagle that Natsuhi Eva has. Pretty cool. I don't know what kind of evidence he found, but it's all
観
baseless.
光業への新規参入には方々への根回しが必要になります。
As a new member of the sightseeing business, it's necessary to lay the groundwork with our various
相
people.
手が信用に足りるかを測ることも大事です。
It is also important to discuss how trustworthy the other party is.
それに手間取っているだけに過ぎません。
This is nothing more than taking some time to meet the ad.
ホテルの完成が早すぎて勇み足になったことは認めよう。
I'll accept that in my rashness. The hotel was completely too early.
だが維持費がかかってるわけじゃない。
However, we are not paying maintenance costs.
やがて大きな意味を持つ布石だ。
It's a slow and vital strategical arrangement.
嘘つけよ。
Yeah, I bet.
生産したくても売れないだけだろ。
More like you want to sell it, but can't.
観光ルートの確立してない何もない離島にやたら豪華なホテルなんて買い手がつくわけもねえさ。
There's no reason for anyone to buying such an extravagant hotel in an isolated island with nothing on it and no established sightseeing routes.
それに事業に集めた融資はどうなってんだよ。
Besides, what's happening with all the loans you gathered for this project?
維持費はかからんでも返せん借金は膨らむ一方や。
It might not be costing you maintenance, but the borrowed money you can't return is going up and up.
すまんがクラウス兄さん、
Sorry, Cross
こ
Nissan.
の島の開発計画の話ちょいと調べさせてもろたんや。
I investigate the development plan of this island a
正
little.
直こっちもええ話は聞かへんのや。
Gotta be honest, I haven't heard anything good either.
秀吉さん、
Hideyoshi-san?
確かに今の財政状況だけを見たらそういう印象を持たれるかもしれない。
I'm sure that only looking at the current financial conditions could lead you to an impression.
だがこれは先行投資なのだよ。
However, that is prior investment.
その読みを誤り、これまでに多くの負債を生んでしまったことは認めざるを得ない。
I have no choice but to admit that my prediction was mistaken, that up until now several liabilities must be created.
だが、ようやく時代が私に追いついた。
However, the times have financially caught up.
これまでに失った分はすぐに取り戻せる。
I will soon regain everything that I have lost up to this point.
いや、それどころか。これまでの投資だってやがては私の元に戻ってくる。
No, actually, all of the investments I have made up until now will finally return to my possession.
そう例えるなら、放った稚魚が鮭となり、肥えて帰ってくるようにね。
That's right, just like throwing away a small fry which becomes a salmon, which now will become even bigger than before.
それは認めるで。
Sure, I'm with you on that.
これからリゾート業界は空前の好景気を迎えるやろ。
I'm with you on that. Starting soon, the resort business will probably see an unprecedented boom.
これまでの負債を埋められるほどかはわからんが。
Though who knows whether it'll be enough to bury all your liabilities.
だがな、クラウス兄さん。
But I gotta ask Krasny-san.
これまで散々負け続けた兄さんがどこから軍資金を調達したっていうんや。
After all the crushing defeats you suffered so far, who in the world supplied you with the funds?
それも半端ない軍資金や。
That's a heck of a sum we're talking.
あれだけの穴を埋められる軍資金やで。
Enough to cover your massive debt, right?
秀吉さんは何をおっしゃいたいのですか？
You trying to say, Hideyoshi-san? Are you saying he embezzled money or something?
ああ、夏樹さん。ほんま怒らんといてえな。
Ah, Natsuki-san, please don't get mad.
わしらも調べたんや。
We've done our research, see?
これまで負け戦続きのクラウス兄さんに最近の強気な莫大投資を支えられるほどの融資を誰ができたんか調べたんや。
We looked into it trying to see who could have loaned Krasny-san, who's lost all his battles thus far, enough to support this recent massive gutsy investment.
結果、
And the result?
いねえんだよ。
No one.
そんな後ろ盾は。
There is no backer.
弱り目と逆に張るのがマネールーレットの鉄則だ。
The iron rule of the money roulette is to bet against the unfortunate.
兄貴はこの界隈じゃちょいと知られた弱り目さ。
And Aniki, you are well known unfortunate in this neighborhood.
確かに時代は好景気を迎えようとしているが、これまでの兄貴の失敗等を天秤にかけて
Surely this era seems to welcome an economic boom, but when we ask who, with respect to Anaki's
その
failures,
上で融資に値すると思う連中がいるのかって言ったら誰もいなかったのさ。
would find them worthy of funding, there was no one.
ならね、
So you see,
そのお金をどこから調達したの？
where did you raise that money from?
ってことになるのよ。
That's what we started to question next.
ほう、興味深い話じゃないか。
Isn't this an interesting story?
それで
And
あなた、
here,
このような暴言をいつまで放置されるつもりですか？
how long do you plan to ignore these abusive remarks?
座れよ、夏日さん。
Sit down, Natsuki.
単刀直入に言おう。
Let me be blunt.
兄貴は親父の個人資産を自分の事業に流用してる。
Let me be blunt, Aniki. You have been diverting that private fund for your own business.
これはほぼ間違いない。
There is almost no doubt.
これが俺たちの誤解だってんなら、どうかぜひそれを解いてもらいたいもんさ。
If we made some mistake, please feel free to explain it for us.
ルドルフ、流用なんてもんじゃないわよ。
Rudolph, this isn't diverting funds.
これは横領よ。
This is embezzlement, isn't it? I was right. It's embezzlement.
刑事告発できる立派な犯罪なんだから。
It's a genuine crime that can be criminally prosecuted.
無礼極まりない。
This rudeness is extreme.
仮にも後宮本家跡継ぎの後宮クラウスに向かって信じられない暴言です。
How could you even face it, the successor to Yoshida-miya head house, and leave these wild accusations?
暴言じゃないわよ。図星でしょ。
They aren't wild. They're right on the money, aren't they?
なんとか事業を成功させて、これまでの損失を埋めたいんだけど、その穴は広がっていく一方。
He wants to make his business succeed so that he can recover his losses, but his debt is actually growing.
博打の穴をさらに大きく張った博打で埋めたいだけよ。
All he wants is to get himself out of the holes he's dug by making an even bigger gamble than before.
その軍資金がすぐ近くにあったなら、手をつけるのは道理。
If he had funds close at hand, this would only be logical that he tried to use them.
はっきり言うわ。兄さんがしているのは横領よ。
Let me explain it clearly, Nissan. What are you doing is
お
embezzlement.
父様に対する裏切りよ。
You are betraying our father.
しかるべき決着がついた後には司法に委ねることになるでしょうね。
I imagine that we will leave you at the mercy of the courts after this is all over.
そんな輩に後宮本家跡継ぎを名乗らせるとお思い？
Do you think those people will kindly agree to address you as a successor to Yoshida-miya head house?
言うにこと書いて。当主様への裏切りとは聞き捨てがたい。
Things are getting heated. I feel bad for the wife Natsuhi. Yeah, she's have to deal with these literal piranhas who are trying to get the money for themselves. She's sort of at the juggler right now. I know, things are getting so heated. The soap opera really doing something. Of all things, saying that she's betraying the head is not something I can
こ
overlook.
の栄光ある後宮家の敷居をまたぐ資格はもはやあなたにはありません。
You are no longer have the right to darken the doors of the glorious Yoshida-miya house.
即刻ここを出て行きなさい。
Leave this place immediately.
さあ、
Go on!
ほら。
Get out! Natsuki, who had already reached the limits of anger, shouted at Eva in rage. She then pointed alternately at Eva in the hallway, indicating that she would leave. Eva looked at the folding fan and fanning herself with glaring maliciously at the Nazi, even though silently daring her to repeat what she said. However, her mouth is still smiling, curved as the shape of a crescent moon. And that unpleasant silence, Rosa gulped.
ねえ、夏日姉さん。
Hey, Natsuki-san.
誰に向かってそんな口をお聞きなの？
Who do you think you're speaking to?
無礼極まりない主人の妹に対してです。
I am speaking to an extremely impolite sister of my husband.
これ以上は私も本家の台所を預かる者として聞き捨てなりません。
As a person in charge of family affairs, I cannot overlook any more of this.
台所を預かる？
In charge of family affairs? Dang this catty bitch. Oh shit.
黙るがいい。この名ばかり女房が。
Shut up, you sorry excuse of a wife. Eva folded the fan with a snap and rose powerfully. Compared to the elegance and playful behavior she had shown until now, just how unimaginably aggressive.
バカバカしい。お前が下がりなさい。
How foolish you leave, bitch!
この後ろ宮エヴァに。
You would tell me you shit at me, Eva?
当主様の左肩を許されている後ろ宮家序列第3位のこのエヴァに下がれと
Yoshimi Eva, me, Eva, the third rank that Shiramiya family in hierarchy, who was granted the left shoulder of the head to leave.
身の程を知りなさい
Learn your place!
そしてお前のそのみすぼらしい姿を鏡に映してみるがいい
And then look in the mirror of your shabby figure.
お前の服のどこに翼が
Where on your clothes is the wing?
どこに片翼のわしが許されているのか
Where are you permitted to wear the one-wing eagle?
貴様など後ろ宮家の跡継ぎを残すためだけの存在じゃないの
Damn! Your only purpose was to birth the successor to the Shiramiya family.
身の程をわきまえるがいいこのゲス女が
Know your place, bitch! While Eva's face grimaced unattractively, her words pierced Nazi hard like claws and painfully twisted in. There were 100 ways Nazi wanted to respond. However, her anger and sorrow crushed her throat and none of them managed to make it out of her mouth. The anger which had lost in place to go became a single hot tear which slowly dripped down.
なーに
Yandere face. What?
何か言い返したいならどうぞ言い返しなさいよ
If you have something to say, say it now.
ほーら
Come on! Eva faced her with a provocative gaze. However, Nazi's fists were shaking, she trembled all over, unable to do anything. Rouse quietly broke that power-cake tension.
夏日
Natsuhi,
席を外しなさい
leave your seat.
頭を冷やすといい
You should cool off your head. What? Natsu resented the fact that her husband had not come to aid, shifted the focus on her attack.
あなたはさっきから何を言われているのか分かってるんですか
Don't you understand what they're saying about you?
この人たちは言うにこと書いてあなたのことをお父様への裏切り者呼ばわりしているんです
These people are basically calling you a traitor to father.
私たちが後ろ宮家の栄光を守り
You protect the glory of the Shiramiya family.
お父様からそれを受け継ぐため日々高潔であろうとする全ての努力をないがしろにして踏みにじるなんという聞きがたい暴言
We put forth effort every day, day and out, striving for the paragons of nobility in order to take over the glory of father and inexcusable rambling travels all underfoot.
あなたもあなたですどうして言い返さないんですか
And you, why didn't you talk back to them?
あなたが言い返さないから私が言い返しているのにさっきからあなたは私に任せっきりで
I'm talking about because you won't, but you won't have relying completely on me.
その私に頭を冷やして来いなんて言うんですか
And now you're telling me to cool off my head?
いつも私ばかり
It's always me.
私はいつも真剣にこの家のことを考えているのにそれはあなたは
I'm always thinking so seriously about this family affairs and you just taken that end. Nancy could no longer hide her tears. She flew from the room in that state. After that, all that remained was a somewhat embarrassed mood from the parlor. When the sound of footsteps grew distant, the silent returned Krause shrugged on his shoulders slightly.
妻が失礼した
I just apologize for my wife.
昔から感情を抑えるのが下手でね
She was very bad at controlling her emotions. Very sad.
私も苦労している
I too have hard times with her.
あんなのに切り盛りされてたんじゃ兄さんも気苦労が絶えないわね
If you got someone like that running things, you must be on the edge constantly as well. This catty bitch. What a terrible family.
奥様
Ah, madam.
何でもありません
It's nothing.
下がりなさい
Leave me be. Nancy flew into her room and bent over the bed wailing. Those heart-wrenching sobs reached Kumasawa-san in the hallway.
おいたわしや奥様
How heart-trending, Madam Natsuhi.
奥様とエヴァ様は犬猿の仲。
There's a deep enmity between her and Eva-sama.
このお二人の関係を説明するのは女の私にはとてもしんどくございます。
Explaining their relationship is very draining for a woman such as myself.
後ろ宮家は血を特に重んじられますが、嫁いで家を出れば本来は序列から除籍されます。
Yoshimi family holds its bloodline in high regard, but if a daughter marries into another family, they would normally be removed from the family hierarchy.
ですからエヴァ様も本来は秀吉様とのご成婚の際に除籍されるはずだったのです。
So under normal circumstances, Eva-sama would have been removed when she married Hideyoshi-sama.
ところがこれは誰のせいでもありません。
However, and this was not everyone's fault.
ましてや奥様のせいであろうはずもありません。
Madam definitely bore no guilt.
神様の気まぐれとしか言いようがありません。
There's no way to say it other than calling it a whim of God.
クラウス様と夏日様にはなかなか子宝が授からなかったのです。
Kraus-san and Natsuhi-san were not blessed with children for some time.
何しろ男尊女卑の後ろ宮家でございます。
And of course, this was a patriarchal Yoshida-Miya family.
妻は後継ぎを残すための道具。
A wife was just a tool to create an heir.
その妻が唯一の役割を果たせないのなら、も
If
はや人間扱いなどされません。
If that wife could not fulfill her only duty, she would not be treated as human.
当時の奥様が親方様からどれほど責め苛まれていたか思い出すのも苦しゅうございます。
It is painful to remember how much that master tortured Madam during that time.
そんな中、エヴァ様に秀吉様とのご結婚の話が持ち上がりました。
During that time, Eva-sama and Hideyoshi-san's wedding were discussed.
エヴァ様は狡猾でした。
Eva-sama was sly.
奥様がいつまでも身ごもられないことにつけ入って親方様に取り入ったのです。
Taking advantage of Madam's inability to become pregnant, she gained the favor of the master.
入婿を取って自分が跡継ぎを産むと吹き込み、ご自分の席を後ろ宮家にとどまらせるよう認めさせたのでございます。
She inspired him to allow her to marry and give birth to the successor herself, making sure to avoid transferring the name out of the Yoshida-Miya register.
後ろ宮家に嫁ぎ、外様扱いの奥様と入婿を取る形で血族として残ったエヴァ様は、後ろ宮家の序列の中では雲泥の差。
There was a vast difference in the Yoshida-Miya hierarchy between Madam, who married into the Yoshida-Miya family and was treated like an outsider, and Eva-sama, who was related to the family by blood and whose husband took the Yoshida-Miya name.
しかもエヴァ様は先にそれも男児をご出産されております。
And beyond that, Eva-sama was the first to give birth and once more to a boy.
どれほど奥様の立場がエヴァ様の前で弱いものであったかお察しいただけますでしょうか。
Perhaps you can now understand how much weaker Madam's position was compared to
奥
Eva-sama's.
様にとってはもし自分がすぐに解任することができればエヴァ様の入婿など親方様に認めさせずに済み、今日のエヴァ様の増長を許さずに済んだだろうという悔しい気持ちがあるに違いありません。
I'm sure Madam is tormented by the thought that if only she had gotten pregnant earlier, the master would have had accepted Eva-sama's request to keep her last name after the marriage, and Eva-sama wouldn't have to be permitted to act as arrogantly as she had today.
しかしそれは奥様のせいであろうはずもない。
However, that is not Madam's fault.
すべては気まぐれな神様とジェシカさんをお届けすることが遅れたコウノトリのせいなのでございます。
All of the blame lies with God's whims and the stork that delivered Jessica-san too late.
だからといって奥様にはそうと割り切れるはずもない。
Even so, Madam won't allow herself to see things this way.
ただただ妻としての責務を全うできなかったことに女として悔し涙をこぼすしかできないでしょう。
She probably can't help but cry bitter tears at her inability to carry out duties expected of a wife. What a weak husband can't even breathe his wife. Shake my head. So true.
老いたわしや。
How heart-trending.
私には何もできず、
I
こう
cannot.
して物陰から見守ることしかできないのです。
I cannot do anything but watch over her from the shadows. Many intense things happening. I feel like maybe this would be a good time to stop. We definitely got through a lot of family drama. A lot of intense stuff happened. So let's save this for another time. Hopefully soon we can go back to streaming more Umineko. Not sure when though, because I'm trying to see if maybe I could continue streaming but without a schedule. Just so I can stream whenever I'm in the mood for it, you know? Sometimes I'm not good at planning things. Sometimes I pick a day and the day just ends up being something that I'm not interested in streaming, or if something comes up, yada yada yada. Yeah. So thank you all for coming and joining and watching me play some Umineko. It was definitely very exciting plotline. Definitely still a lot of exposition, but I feel like the second half really gave us a lot of character development. So thank you for hard work, thank you. That family drama surprise they still get together. Me too. But I guess the thing that's tying them together to stay together is the money. So that's definitely something that's gonna be explored more later on as we go. Being able to do it as time permits and such. Yeah. That would make things more flexible. Yeah. And choose what makes you more comfortable. Exactly. Thank you for the comfy stream, Mystery. Thank you. I'm gonna be busy doing some personal stuff. Mostly because, as you may have noticed, we're at the halfway mark, getting closer and closer to fall season. And my anniversary is the fall season. I want to do something special for it. So I'm gonna, try to do something new with my VTuber model. Gonna keep it a hush-hush, but hopefully it'll pay off in the end. So thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoy Umineko no Nakokora ni. We're definitely gonna come back to this another time. Do what's comfortable for you, Mystery. Thank you. I'm glad you agree. Thank you. Mystery anniversary hype, yes! October 21st. Hyper. Don't fully know what I'm gonna do on the anniversary day, but hopefully I'll be able to have time to plan it out. So don't worry about it. Anyway, take care. Looking forward to Puppet being a year old. Yay! My first anniversary. Thank you all for joining me. That was definitely a fun time. So I'll take my leave now. You go have dinner, go eat, go drinkies, do what you need to do while I relax myself. Okay, bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.